Bonjour, and hello, everybody! You are listening to Worldwide Tea. It is the one and only podcast where every single week we talk about everything going on in the world of international drag race seasons. And as always, I am Evan Sawdey from Pop Matters.
I'm Gregory Ellwood from the playlist and the LA Times sometimes. And Evan, first of all, how are you doing on this? Is this Thursday? We're doing this on
This
a
is a
Thursday evening.
Thursday.
How are you doing, Evan?
I'm doing okay. I'm here in balmy 85-degree Los Angeles for some reason, while the rest of the country is dealing with power outages and snow piles and all this other crazy stuff. It is a different world over here, but to anyone that's listening and needs a little bit of comfort, I think Drag Race is the perfect show for it, truth be told. And oh, Greg, there is so much to talk about. How are you, dear friend? May I ask?
Well, I just watched a predictable episode of The Traitors,
Oh
so
boy.
I'm, the show's gonna
It's not Alan Carr. If
it's
it's not
gonna
Alan
it's
Carr.
fading out towards the end. I mean, it's
Okay.
whatever. Have you
Ooh.
watched, right? You don't watch.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've not watched the
Okay.
latest, but
No,
we
no
will keep
spoilers, but it's sort of like, okay, I see where this is all going. Like,
more Drag Race girls. That's what we keep saying. That's what we're going to keep advocating for
you
time and
know
time
what?
again.
Less boring figure skaters. How about that? And less
Can we make
stars,
that happen?
less
Make that
boring
happen.
actors from One Tree Hill who
Oh
know
my God. I
he's
keep
the
forgetting
worst.
him.
He's the worst American traitor, and I'm counting the first season where they had like civilians. Like no one will. People will. You can do a challenge with hardcore fans in 2 months when this show's over. And like, I want you to name everyone on the cast, and they'll never remember him.
They'll never know. They'll never know. And
Yeah,
hey, guess what, Greg? We have a drag performer at the Super Bowl this coming weekend.
we do. I,
Yes.
who's performing with Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny
Oh,
is doing it. I'm not sure if you watched the music video where he did an entire thing in drag, but I've seen some people pull open that clip and be like, "How dare this person?" It's Benito. He's got to be fine. He just won Album of the Year at the Grammys. It's got to be a great time. All I can say. And you know what else is a great time? Reminding everybody here that in this House of Love, we believe that all drag is valid and
yes.
no queen ever deserves online hate. And we're American entertainment journalists. We may not get every cultural reference, so we always appreciate corrections. And as I've seen from the reaction to the very first episode we did, y'all in the comments made sure to correct us. So thank you so much for that, fans, truly. And most importantly, there's some truly great queens who aren't good at Drag Race, and we love them all the same. And Greg, I don't know about you. I am entertained with Drag Race UK versus the World Season 3 so far. I am deeply entertained. Even if it's not necessarily great, I am deeply entertained by this show.
Listen. The ratings supposedly have crashed in the UK for
Oh,
UK versus, which is not surprising because they don't have a lot of UK stars on it in terms of like queens. Maybe they should have paid extra to get the Taste Ahoras, Cheddar Gorgeouses, Davina De Campos of the world. No offense to Kate Butch, but like, let's be honest. Like, this is. Remember, we thought this was the C Squad, but they are
uh-huh.
entertaining. And I can tell you this from the social interactions around the rest of the world people were watching. And I'm assuming many of them were very happy when Fontana walked in, still celebrating her win from last week.
Hmm. I can only imagine their feelings and their reactions, but Greg, the question I have for you is, while there has no queen that has gone on at the start of episode two, what is going on where Sminty is basically following page three's run to an almost identical degree? That's the thing I'm not realizing because very shortly on after they go ahead, they are sitting down and celebrating Fontana and whatnot. It's Minty Fresh who asked the question, okay, who should have been in the bottom though? Because as we know, there was a top five. There wasn't a real true bottoms over there,
Yeah.
and it's Sminty. It's our dear sweet Sminty who pulls the page three. I think the bottom girls' looks were better than the top girls. Who Sminty says, well, I think it's Melinda and Mariah, obviously, who should be at the bottom. Now, truth be told, she's not telling no lies. She's not telling any lies, if I'm being kind of real about it. But like, just out the gate, happy to stir the pot, not making any friends. Greg, thoughts, ideas?
I mean, Smitty did say in the first episode she was not going to hold back. She was going to be herself, and that is herself. I always thought Paige was never doing it from a shady place. She was just
Right.
having conversation and talking in general, and the edit sometimes made it look more shady than it was. I don't know. I mean, but I did notice that Smitty says she underestimated Gawdland,
Hmm.
and Meanwhile, Gawdland is unfazed by Sminty saying this to her, like in public, like in front of the other girls. But Gawdland is keeping her eyes on Fontana. She does say she's watching out for Fontana, which was pretty smart. But then Minty's actually the one stirring the pot. She says she wants to know um, who should have been in the bottom, and Sminty says Mariah and Melinda. And she just says that's my honest opinion. And that was okay. There was you're right. There was some drama here. I was a little surprised. But then the one other interesting part about that is in confessionals, Mariah says she realized she's not as solid with all these queens as she thought she was. But then again, Melinda doesn't disagree at all with anything they're saying. What did you take away from all this?
Overall, I mean, listen, I think it's the thing where not to be that guy, but I think it's very somewhat similar to some previous seasons. I'm not sure if the girls really like each other. And I think that's kind of coming out to be a little bit true, where it's like, yes, there's kind of a Philippines alliance and kind of a UK alliance. I don't know how many people like each other, but most critically throughout all of this, I keep forgetting Gawdland was never this funny on Thailand season 3. Gawdland was never this hilarious all the way straight through. I am delighted by every appearance that she makes in the confessional. She's really bringing it. I'm very surprised so far.
I mean, again, I feel like there's no pressure for Gawdland, and I feel like the fear of God was put into them on Drag Race Thailand season 3. And we will remind you, you do not need to watch. You don't need to
Please.
watch. It is not better. I had a friend of mine say, like, I want to watch. Like, no, don't,
I need to
don't.
see who beat her out. And Frankie Wonga is a legend. And Siam
Frankie's
Pucci
great.
we always love. But you do not need to see the
No,
battlefield they've gone through to do
no,
that.
no, no, no,
You
you know.
acting challenges, girl, you are better. You are better doing anything else.
You know what? We celebrate today. We forget tomorrow.
Celebrate.
We forget
Exactly.
tomorrow.
Exactly.
Celebrate today. Um,
Absolutely.
but there are some interesting things while they're de-dragging, and it's sort of rare they show this before cutting to the intro graphics. Sminty and Kate question whether Mariah should still be in their alliance based on what happened, and that was like a big okay.
Mm.
And then Fontana tells Gawdland that they both have targets on their backs, and she asks Gawdland, "Are you scared of them?" And without a beat, without a hint of thinking about it, she goes, "No."
Why would she be?
Why
Why
would
would she
she?
be?
But here's the thing, Evan. We are blessed. Not only do
You're
we have
blessed.
Alan Carr as our guest judge, we have the return of the one and only Kristen McMenemy for the third time around. She will again be iconic, not as iconic, but iconic. Were you excited to see that she was the guest judge this week?
I'm pretty sure if I became best friends with RuPaul, I too would get a guest judge spot at that point there, where it's just, I'm always like, right, that's right, you're here. She's giving big, oh, who was that actress on Unbreakable, Kimmy Schmidt, who played the landlord lady? I can't remember that. Oh, my goodness, it's gonna drive me crazy. But
Oh, you mean from 30 Rock? From uh you mean what's her name? Oh my God.
oh my God, Carol Kane is who I'm thinking of.
Oh,
She always
Carol
gives off that.
Kane.
She gives off that energy to me a little bit, which is, I think, just like kind of somewhat
Okay.
amazed and sporadic, but it's still just always at least entertaining, engaged more than I could say for some of the other guest judges that we've seen so far. But yeah, she's here. I'm excited
I
about
love
that.
her. I
Sure,
need her on
yeah.
either US or UK traders. I think she'd be freaking iconic. She'd be gone in 2 episodes, but
Oh my God, she'd be so good on UK Traders. Are you
good.
kidding me? Let's make that
Because
happen.
she's
Get that
American
petition
who
started
just
now.
lives in the UK. She could also
Right.
just do US traders. But we get that whole intro. We've got the 50 pound, 1,000 pound prize. But they come into the workroom the next day. I believe the UK queens come in together first, and then
Uh-huh.
it's because they're doing
UK
UK
versus the
versus the
world.
world,
Yeah.
which giving me early Slasian Royale vibes. Like,
Uh-huh.
let's not all get together. And then they have one of the more boring. And by the way, we've seen a lot of table conversations in the morning.
Yes, we
This
have.
is in the top 10 of most boring ever. They really have nothing to say to each other. But
It's
thank
truly
God
amazing.
because Rue shows up. Um,
I
and
don't say that often, but in this case,
yeah,
yes, thank God Rue showed up.
Rose, and she lets them know that this week they are going to do a drag look from the past, from someone's past, and then turn it into a fresh look for the future. The twist is out of these 10 classic looks, there's a big asterisk on classic. Um, they will have to rework another queen's outfit, not their own. And they seemed, by the way, somewhat shocked about this. Didn't we just experience this on another season? Am I crazy? It wasn't on, was it on US,
I
on
I
Canada?
felt like it was on maybe it was a US All Stars, but it was like a look from another queen. Like they've done
Yeah,
that before too, you know. And I remember I think it was like All Stars 3 or something like that they had the different boxes or something. Yeah, it was there's something
right,
similar, but yeah, it's been a minute. But this is specifically a previous look of one of the queens who is participating is wild
right.
because I guess they also had a bit of editorial where they got to at least select the look that they picked. So you
Wait,
know, like the
they still had to
bring
have
it,
it and bring it. Like it
yeah.
had to be, yeah. So, I anyway, I interrupted you, but please go ahead. Like, were you excited about this idea or were you eh?
Like again, I love a good design challenge on here, but again, they picked out the looks thinking that they couldn't pick their own. That's the one thing that they do. It was just a matter of whether or not it was going to be, you know, they would rework it. It'd be wild. Only after they picked it, they realized that it was going to, or thought things they realized it was going to be a swap out. They had to do someone else. But then they did the classic thing that they did of here's all the looks on display, and then you have to pick, and
Yep.
then after you pick who picks next. And so there is a
And
pecking order.
we
Yes.
have a little España twist that was on the recent season of España that also happened at the end of this, but we'll get to it. Evan, would you indulge me as I quickly go down
Oh, please,
here?
gladly.
I took notes. Because she won last week's episode, Hannah Fontana, because Rue is having so much fun with Fontana's name, which I sort of like gives me, makes me feel warm.
Uh,
She gets to pick first. She picks Kate's Shania Twain look, which,
mhm.
by the way, I feel you and I could improve at any moment. It's a terrible look. I mean, I get why she brought it.
It does the job, right? Certainly,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot
And
of
then
fabric. That's the key thing. Yeah.
a lot of fabric. And then Fontana, nicely, because she also was in the top two, picks Gawdland. And Gawdland picks next. And she picks Gawdland's bridal look. Oh, sorry, she picks Sminty's bridal look. Um, and I was like, okay. But then Gawdland picks Sminty because she took her look. Sminty
Yes.
picks Gawdland's terrible look, which I don't even remember now what it was. What was that look? It was
Oh, it was a mix of like fishnets and kind of like ruched fabric, and it was kind of a little bit of a rough and tumble kind of thing from what I remember specifically.
yes, now I remember that.
Yeah.
We don't really see the rest of the queens picking each other for a while, but Zahira picks Serena's look, which was terrible. Kate Butch picks Zahira's look, which was terrible. Uh, only
There's a
Naomi,
pattern I'm detecting,
yeah,
right?
only Naomi picks Minty's look, which I sort of thought was okay. Like I don't remember
Uh-huh.
it being that bad. Mariah picks Melinda's look, which I actually thought was a nice dress. Like it was sort of okay.
Hmm.
Um, and then Melinda picks Naomi's look, also a bridal look, I think. And she notes, I think either Rue says or someone says that it has no stretch in it as a bridal look. Am I correct on this?
That
And
is correct. Yes, that comes up later on during at the
she
very end.
goes,
Yeah.
"I'm a glutton for punishment. It's okay." Um, Melinda picks. Oh no,
Naomi.
I'm sorry. I think I've written Melinda here twice. Melinda Serena's look. Serena chooses Mariah's look. Anyway, the point
Yeah.
is, we get towards the end. Minty is last,
Yes.
and she is supposed to get Fontana's look. It's the only look that's left. It's this terrible sort of like Amazon, like she bought like 15 stretch, like terrible clubby shirts
Yeah.
and turned it into
Yeah.
something. But there's a twist. Because she's last, Minty can steal from another queen. And she steals not only from another queen, but her Asian sister from Gawdland. So Minty now has Sminty's look, and Gawdland now has Fontana's outfit. So this is all super confusing. But they
It's
all
fun.
but it's fine. They all basically got like mostly terrible dresses, but with mostly a lot of fabric, except for one or two of them. Did you were you worried about anyone at this point with this challenge? Because they all seemed super confident.
The thing is that, like, again, not to be that guy, but like, I know you kind of riffed on Kate Bush's Shania Twain look, which is just a recreation of her music video look, but
Yeah.
like that had the most fabric and I think had the most blank canvas you could deal with because everything else just was. I don't remember any of these looks, and again, as we talked about, these aren't really iconic queens. Melinda Verga isn't known for her looks, and
Known
so
for that one look. She's only
of
known for
course.
one look. Yeah.
Right, which we get to see a little
Yeah.
bit in kind of a way later. But yeah, so like it's the kind of thing where, as much as it's terrible, like they're all kind of on an even keel. So like it's kind of nice because none of these are good. So cool, great. They all have the basis to go off of. Now it's just a matter of how well they can pull it out. And again, sometimes some people with just a glue gun can make some miracles, and that is some of what we see. But yeah, it's I think fair. I think it's fair across the board. I don't think it really mattered who got what. It really is a matter of what you did with it, if I'm being so real.
Rue also adds the caveat before they start working on these that wigs and undergarments and fabrics inspired by that garment are allowed.
Thank God.
This on undergarments because I think there were about two major queens who one got dinged and the other one should have, but we'll get to that in a second.
We'll get to
That
that.
always happened. Um, uh, I can't remember if they're talking when Rue calls them over or not, but they go back into the workroom and um, Rue eventually brings them all back over to talk about stuff. Um, Oh no, maybe not. Melinda at some point says sewing is not a problem. She's not worried about it. I don't know if that was to Rue or someone else. Zahira talks to Naomi how much she helped her sisters on her season too much, and she's not going to do it this time around.
Mhm.
Um, and I also recognize that Mariah doesn't seem like she's learned any sewing skills at all. And this is her third time around. She's a glue gun girl. Serena is working on her outfit and says she's going to make it a poncho, and that she's a beginning sewer, which is like again, you are now on your second season of Drag Race. What are you doing? Kate is talking to someone and says she also hates stretch fabric, which is wild. Like I don't know why you would hate. She thinks sewing a non-stretch fabric will help her, and the gods eventually listened. They shouldn't have. Um, but I eventually they do talk to Rue, and at one point Naomi says that she can use a sewing machine, but she's not a seamstress. And Rue looks at her drawing and says something that will come up later. That if she's going to do those big shoulders, she better do some padding.
Mhm.
Can't rely on that body, Evan.
Mhm.
Were there any other things that sort of popped from any of these conversations with Rue or them working in the workroom on these outfits that spoke to you?
Well, first off, when they first get into the workroom after they get their looks, Fontana complains about Kate's look, which is wild because she just picked it. But I thought that was a very fascinating dynamic. The other thing is that outside of Gawdland just being a delight in the confessionals, which I'll keep mentioning again and again, Rue, when sitting down during the talk with Melinda, notes that, so from my understanding, you don't take critiques well. And Melinda is happy to own up to it and talks about it was a moment of vulnerability. She is keenly aware of season 4, episode 4, and the iconic status that has. But, she's understanding of it, and she understands that the virality of that moment wasn't due to her necessarily freaking out so much as she was being authentically herself. I will say, though, when you have Smint. Oh, go ahead, by the way.
I was just
Yes.
going to say, Melinda also does try to say being a Scorpio is an excuse. Like that's which, by
Girl.
the way, as someone who's a Leo and
Oh,
Scorpios
God, you're such a fucking Leo,
uh,
Greg.
don't work. I
Just
am a
saying.
very much a Leo. Yes, they do not
Yes.
work. Like I sort of understand that. It's amazing. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
The best thing I saw this entire episode was the renderings on paper that Sminty and Minty did. Holy shit, these girls could draw. Holy shit. The designs are impeccable and textured and elaborate. I'm like, girl, if you could do even half of how good this looks on the actual design itself, you winner. Like, I was just blown away by how good they could draw.
For 2 seconds, I actually thought someone else drew them. Like for I was like, wait, did they really draw
Right.
these? They were that good. I was like so detailed. And so
Right.
I'm still a little conspiratorial that maybe someone came in and helped them do it. But
And some
I,
artists came in with
yeah.
assistance. Yes, exactly.
Um, anything else that popped from this whole little convo?
Not no, not before Rue leaves with a parting note.
And what was that parting note, Evan? Because it's a big one.
Oh, it's a but, and it's a big but. She notes that, by the way, you have to do another look. Don't worry, it's one that you already brought with you. You also have to do a redemption look. So outside of doing a Rumix look from another queen, you have to take a look from your original season and you have to redo it in a new way. That is a challenge that we also just saw on Philippines as well to various mix success. But yep, it's going to be kind of a mini ball. It's a two look ball. And yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's a lot, but it is kind of exciting.
The only other thing that I would notice before Rue left is when she talked to Minty, Minty mentioned that she was top two in her the first design challenge ever on Drag Race Philippines.
Philippines.
And she won the ball. So a
Yep.
lot of pressure on Minty. Sminty knows how to sew, and she wants Rue to know that. And Rue wants to know why in her design she's making it so hard on herself because it
Mhm.
does seem like a complicated design on paper. And she says because she wants to win, which to be honest, I don't know if I would ever say that. I feel like you are setting yourself up for failure with a judge if you're like, I'm going, you better like design a couture runway ready to go. And I think that's hard
Mhm.
for any of them to do in one day. Um, but Rue leaves. The queens keep talking and working. The only other things that really popped to me is the Brit queens are definitely a clique. Like
They're
very
locking in. Yeah.
and they think the odds are in their favor. They call themselves Team UK. Don't love this. They didn't do this as much on the first two UK versus seasons, but these three are down for it. Um, and then we have a wonderful conversation with Serena Moreno and Melinda Verga, where Serena, who obviously speaks Spanish, knows what Melinda Verga means in Spanish and is sort of curious, like where this idea came from. Evan, what does Melinda Verga mean in Spanish or insinuate?
So So Virga certainly means as a colloquial term for cock, certainly, and we can talk about it's our podcast and we'll say which we want
Yes.
on here. And Melinda, I think, is there's some way they're able to transfer that into monster or beautiful or my pretty. So technically, her drag name is my pretty cock, but. We find out a lot of information about Melinda Verga, how a lot of people, when they see her or get to experience her in more intimate settings, note that it is perhaps a monster cock. And Serena Moreno is more than happy to admit to the cameras and the world that she does love a monster cock and is curious if my pretty cock, I'm sorry, Melinda Verga, has a monster to be there. Who knows? Was this something I was envisioning when I initially saw the Canada's Drag Race season 4? No, but now we are talking about the potentiality of Melinda Verga's cock.
I was not thinking the episode would go there, but you never know. It's
We,
always a surprise.
you're
Also,
watching the BBC, so
you're watching the
yeah, that's all I
which
can say.
again, BBC, like
BBC. I'm just saying.
uh
And yeah.
no, I was just going to say there were some other quick things we learned before we went to go to the runway. Minty and Sahira there's actually a lot of like workroom combo stuff here, considering that this is a two runway episode. Um, Minty and Sahira both realize they've been essentially being drag queens for 14 to 15 years and then both professionally 7 to 8 years. So they sort of bond. I think Sahira thinks she's bonding with Minty. I'm not so sure Minty is genuinely bonding with Sahira, but it's cute. And then also, there is a big moment while they're getting ready where Fontana talks about the contrast of rights for queer people in Brazil and why she left. She basically, her story is that she met a guy who was from Sweden. She was 20 at the time, and things had been so tough for her. She lived in a very rough neighborhood where there were shootings and it was dangerous. And there are legal rights for being queer or trans or LGBTQ plus, but she never, there are a high percentage of deaths of our people. And she basically said that's one of the reasons why she left. And she does have a whole moment where she talks about the difference between just walking down the street in Sweden and how it helped her be a drag queen. What was interesting about this is I did not realize there was also a big conversation she had when she was on Drag Race Sverige on Sweden. She talked about this
Hmm.
there as well. And I asked a friend of mine in Brazil, because I was trying to remember a Drag Race friend. It was like, what is the reaction to this? And back then it was not taken very well. It was like,
Hmm.
why are you saying, it's sort of like, why are you dissing your homeland when you're giving us a platform? Like, this is unnecessary. Like, people
Hmm.
who are queer get attacked and killed everywhere, but it's not as bad as you're saying it is. So I haven't seen a lot of reaction from the Brazilian fans to this yet, but it may just be because she already did it the first time, or that many
Right.
Brazilian fans aren't watching. Did you take anything away from Fontana's convos? Her story. Did it make you concerned she might be going home?
No, I mean she just won last week. It was just more interesting that when it came to Rouge, she talked about like I moved to Sweden for a boy, but also she knows that when it comes to walk through time, your time is limited. To her actually expanding on the story of what specifically it meant was very helpful because even Greg and I just watched Drag Race Brazil season two. In fact, I'm not sure if you caught this. Greg actually did an interview with the winner of Drag Race Brazil season two. We added it to one of our episodes there, and I felt like there wasn't as much. There were talks about money and experience, how some queens really came up from nothing over there, but to
Yeah.
get a little bit more of a ground view of it, I feel like this was something that was a lot more considered, and especially having it on a more global scale, I'm always happy about. But yeah, overall, like it was lovely to see, and it's just nice to see a little bit more depth to Fontana because she's clearly knows what she's doing. But yeah, it was helpful and enlightening.
But it's time for the runways, and
Thank God.
RuPaul comes out. Yeah, I will have to say the one negative about this episode, it was way. This is where I think you were talking about how they're not really friends. Like the energy in the workroom while they're working, it doesn't feel. It feels very like performative. I'm just doing this. Like no one seems happy. I shouldn't say that no one seems happy to be there. No one seems happy to be working with someone else, I should say. But Rue
Right.
comes out in what I would describe as an purple gown. And all I would say is thank you, Zaldi, for saving all the good gowns for Drag Race US season 18 because they've been perfecto. They've been so good. You flipped it this year and sent all the shitty ones to UK, and I am all good with that. Did you like this gown, Evan?
Oh, it was certainly there. It was on her body. There's undeniable there. Truly, absolutely something.
And then Kristen McMenemy goes on a whole rant about why she's back, about how all the other supermodels couldn't show up, but she considers herself like a volunteer firefighter. And when there's a fire, they call her, and she comes and she puts it out and lights it up. And Rue just can't stop laughing.
Yeah, yeah.
Tells me
Again, friend of RuPaul, as we know.
Kristen might be back for fourth time sooner rather than later.
Might
Um,
get her own spin-off. She's gonna take over Painted with Raven. Who knows, right?
oh my God, do you remember Painted with Raven? Wow.
2 seasons, baby. 2 seasons they did that thing for.
That could have been a show if they did it in person. Like
Oh my God, I know, absolutely. And except they did. They did it on Netflix. It's called Glow Up, and it's pretty good. Like it
but
was a
even
whole,
Glow Up even Glow Up is over. Like it
yeah.
hasn't come back. Sad. Sad.
Ding dong. Anyway.
Ding dong. Anyway, it's time first
Oh my
for their
God.
elevated looks. Now,
Yes.
these are looks that they're taking another former look and they're zhushing it up. Uh, Evan, would you like me to go down the list, or are you? Or
Please. Oh, I could go. I could go. Because guess what? The first look is Gawdland, who decides to just fucking come out here with some fucking Easter Island shit. Because she comes out as a giant crow bird thing. She is on stilts. The stilts have crow claw feet. They're metallic. She has these realistic wings. It is a gobsmacking moment. It is truly just an incredible look. It has wow factor. It has volume. It is basically spoiler alert, the best thing you're going to see this episode. It is so good. And unfortunately, we start on a high. Oh, Greg, we start on a high. That's all I can say. What were your thoughts?
I liked it very much, except for the tan bodice. I didn't love that
Yeah.
tan, and it might have been the lights. It might have looked better in person, but I that was the only thing I didn't like. But the wings were incredible. The armor, the legs were impeccable. I need to double check. It feels like something Shotgun would have helped her make. So that's very up his alley. Shotgun is a another queen on
Short gun. Yes.
Short Gun. So thank you, Short
Yes.
Gun on Drag Race Thailand season 3, who specializes in sci-fi fantasy sort of
Mhm.
looks. But up next was Sminty. What did you think of this Neon Nights glow up?
Oh, Greg, I hated it.
Me
it's
too.
I don't even the color isn't even the problem. It's the fact that you have like kind of this melting kind of fabric thing, and then just out of nowhere, nothing below the belly button, nothing above the thighs, and then we just have crotch. We just have panty, and it is so incongruous with the rest of the look. And it's like, what are we doing? And then they show her original look. I'm like, well, that's not better. Like
No, it's the original one looks better.
it's
I was like, how is this better?
I
I
thought you were the fashion girly. I thought
Yeah.
you were the fashion girly. It was bad. I was a little bit stunned. And unfortunately it was the trend. It doesn't get better, Greg. I did not
You
like it.
know,
Holy shit.
the only thing I thought is she was working with her designer, and when they were doing this, that color was somehow fashion forward in for the moment, and it probably looked better in person because there were details in it. They got blown out by the lights, and
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. Her mug was incredible, though. I'll give her that.
Right.
Like her mug was great. Speaking of messy looks, up next is Serena Moreno. And I'm just gonna say, when she came around that corner, I literally thought, that's a man, Maury. Like,
So for me, I see this look and I'm like, wait, this is the one that you brought from home? This isn't the one that you made in the workroom? Holy shit, girl. Do you a tube dress with a gold glittered bodice and a kind of a flower wrap kind of thing? Sure. Shows the original look. The glitter isn't there. It's like,
I
what
didn't
are
think
we
it looked better.
doing?
I thought it was just as bad as the first one. I didn't think it was
It
a
was bad. It was so bad, Greg.
yeah.
It's like again, like after here, I'll be honest. I'll just get to be candid right here, Greg. After the first episode, I'm like, you know what? Maybe Greg and I were a little bit harsh during the Meet the Queens. Maybe this
Yeah.
isn't the B squad. Maybe there's some real entertainment value here. Maybe we're gonna get to. By the time this fucking these runways end, I'm like, nope, this is the B squad, all right. Like it just I get the balls are my favorite. Design challenges are my favorite, and oh god. It was just this whole thing is so bad, and this is emblematic of how bad the rest of it is. It's just so this isn't even good bar drag. This is just bleh.
I will say this, and I'm not saying she shouldn't have been low when we get there, but I did think this was better. Melinda Verga's Vivian Westwood inspired look was definitely better. Listen, she wrapped fabric around a corset, but it did look more Vivian Westwood. It was more of the sort of shape that a lot of Vivian's work is. I thought it was actually one of the best things I've ever seen her in. Like I just thought it flattered her in ways that other stuff hadn't. I I I thought it was good, even though it was just shaped around a corset. What did you think?
My thought is that spoiler alert, Serena Moreno should have been in the bottom. I'm just going to put that out there right now. But number two is that I I also think that low key like, this is like the example 3 out of 4 of like I think the original look that she had, the design challenge of Vivian Westwood inspired look from her I season her iconic look was better than this. If I'm being so real, like because it was multicolored and textured, and then going down to just kind of this dull drab brown and this muted red color, it just didn't have pop to it. Like it was
Oh,
fine. It had a little bit more design to it. I just didn't have that oomph that I needed from it. So it just kind of read as a little bit flat on the runway, personally.
it looked way more fashion to me than what she had wore before. It for me, it
Greg and I sometimes disagree, and that is totally okay. That is fine.
stepped on politics. We don't disagree on politics.
You're
Um,
damn right.
Up next is the Only Naomi, and she's doing her fetish glow up. And so here's my take on this. The original was, and this is better. It is a entire white, like very Dracula, gothic, horror inspired piece thing.
Gaga, early
Gaga,
Gaga.
very
Yeah,
Gaga, yeah. The only
yeah.
problem is, again, it's the same sort of problem that Sminty had. The light, there is
They
texture
just
all
wash
over
out.
it,
Yeah.
all washed out. And until they did a close up for a second, you're like, oh, wait, there's texture there. And
Right.
I, I don't, I just feel like this happens on US seasons, it happens on global. You just sometimes don't know. I will say the second she took the headpiece off, her mug she looked so good. I was like, I thought she might be high this week. I thought this look was, so when you say that you thought Gawdland's look was the best, this was pretty close to me. This was very good. Do you have any
The
other
one thing I mean, I fully agree with you pretty much all the way straight down. The other thing I'll say is that clearly she's not afraid of padding because when she has this jutting triangle hip moment, like it's pretty powerful. Like I think it's pretty striking. And then stuff changes. But long story short, again, queens and rankings. This I thought would have saved someone from the bottom. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's all we'll say.
Up next is our winner this season, Kate Butch. And she is doing a Slaycation glow up. And I just want to say, here's the thing. Loved the wig. The wig was interesting.
Yeah,
I
wig
loved
is great.
it. Interesting. And it's way better. But the leggings. She is literally wearing leggings that do not go all the way down to her feet. They show her ankles. As Mama Pal would say, the shoes.
The shoes.
Hey, how can you do, what are you doing? Wear booty shoes, wear boots. What is this? Like it it would have been so, she would have been not high, but she would have been, no one would have ever said for a minute like you shouldn't be like safe if she just won fucking boots. It looked
Right.
so amateur. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it also basically it's a black latex bodysuit, and then
With
she
some
wraps some orange
fabric
fabric
wrapped
around it.
around.
Like that's it. Like yes, there's a train to it, but like again, for the look that you brought, that it feels like it was made into the workroom. Like this would have been good if this was a design challenge, but you brought this one, and it was just it was kind of an improvement over her original, but I'm just not blown away. Like I'm so sorry to her, but like Tia Coffee. I'm not saying Tia Coffee's the fashion queen, but she showed up to her UK versus the World season
Yeah.
with a mission, and she had stuff to prove. And I feel like Kate has the same imperative. I don't think she's hitting that metric. That's
Agreed.
that's just yeah,
Speaking of a queen who's also slightly disappointing, slightly,
girl.
Minty Fresh comes out in her redo of the Let There Be
Christmas
Light
lights.
runway. And here's the thing. Someone said to me, "Oh, she just took, lights and like put it underneath like this Vegas look." And I'm like, "No, it had to be like incorporated. It was not there was thought into it. It was sewn, it was designed. It does just seem like a Vegas look with sort of like lights into it." And I do have to say, I said this last week, I miss big hair Minty Fresh. This like
Yeah.
hair thing, I don't love it. Um, but I thought it was fun. And I love that the production turned the lights down so that it could show itself off, which makes sense because it was also she's redoing a certain runway where they would turn the lights off. What did you think about this?
It's just okay. Like, listen, I understand there may have been a lot of thought that went into the design to get that kind of glow up look. It still, ultimately, at the end of the day, just felt like Christmas lights. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
have any wow factor to it. It's just, and unfortunately, like now we're at this point where after All Winners, when they had a very similar light-based runway, unfortunately, we've kind of seen the top tier of what this can do. So if you're just doing an okay job, it's just an okay job. So a little bit of a letdown from truly one of the fashion girlies from her original Philippine season. Like, yeah.
I gotta say, she is not living up to what Eva or Marina did at all. Like, and also
So far, so
she's
far, yeah.
she's making Eva's run on global seem like top tier, and Eva was. I will say this: years from now, people will go like, "Oh well, global was way better than we thought." Like those runways, like anyway. Um,
Yeah.
Up next was Zahira, and here's the thing:
Zahira.
Zahira, the original House of Cards cocktail party look was so terrible. Like it's so low. It's not hard to improve on it. But I gotta say, I thought this was a major glow up. It's not groundbreaking, but the dress hits the floor. I loved the cape. There's just enough stones. I loved the color. It's not too much. I sort of loved it. What did you think?
So in my notes, I wrote down yes, is better than the original, but I also wrote that it is unremarkable. Because I do think it's the kind of thing where it's just very muted. I think that there's like it's a great dress for any other time. It's a nice thing to throw on, when you're doing some, cocktail party, whatever. But like it's fine. It is acceptable. I'm forgetting it as I'm describing it. That's the one thing. This isn't going to stick with me. So apparently, though, given everything else we've seen, she's still above the bar. She's above average. I will say that. So
Yeah.
my God.
Up next is last week's winner, Fontana, redoing her "My Life as a Golden Girl" look. Here's the thing: I loved this dress. This dress, Evan, was great. This wig that had just come out of the bag, and when they did a close up, and she had not glued down the lace is literally popping off the side in the video. It's not in the photos. Like, I literally gasped. Like, Fontana, girl, this was the first thing you guys did. You should have cared. Like, I don't know if they were rushed or she didn't have what happened, but I literally wrote in all caps, you can see the lace. Like, the rest of the look itself was fantastic, but I was short of shock. Usually she has great hair. So this was wild to me.
Downgrade from the original, if I'm being so real with you. And
Oh,
also on top of it, I'm so sorry, Greg. I have to bring it out. I have to get the panel again. Drag closet. I don't know how this isn't doesn't feel like it really hits this specific brief. If you look at the original look that she had, I feel like this is a transformation, certainly, but this whole trend, this whole fucking trend of when you have a tube dress that cuts off at the boobs, and then you have these little dangly little things that just kind of come down. I will never find that fashion. I'm sorry. It's like it has an effect, certainly. It just feels like again, we've already seen worse. We have seen worse, but I was not impressed. I'm so sorry.
she has not posted it yet, so I'm not sure who's. I'm not sure if she borrowed it, if it was another Swedish Queen's look. Um,
Yeah.
but again, curious. So after that, though, was our U.S. representative, Mariah Balenciaga, redoing the highlight your favorite assets. Um, I loved the hair. The coat was good. It was a pretty gown out of the dry closet. It worked, but was it that much better? Like, I guess, but not remarkable. What did you think?
This is the one I really liked a lot. I will say
Oh,
when she walked out on the stage and you saw from the side, I think the side view kind of took away some of the magic. But when she faced forward and you could kind of see this ombre ruffle thing that was going on here, I liked it better when she had it kind of more consuming her a little bit. But I really liked it. I thought her wig choice was exceptional on this. I thought it was a little bit
yes.
more fashiony. Her mug was great. Like it's the kind of thing where I've not really seen this side of Mariah before, and it was really good. I don't think this is like any other season this would be safe. Given what we've seen so far, this definitely felt like, okay, I can see why she's above average on here. Like I was not props to you, mama, truly.
Now it was time for the Rumix runway.
Rumix.
Gawdland was up first. She transformed Fontana's look, and she really transformed it. Like,
The
she
look nobody wanted. The
the look
look
nobody
nobody
wanted.
wanted.
This is a Oscar winning glue gun look for to do this with a glue gun. Plus, she was inspired with the makeup. She had a vision of what she was doing, which I don't know if all the other girls did, and that impressed me. What did you think of this look?
Van Gogh looks great. I think it's just incredible. Low key, it's the kind of thing where it's like this is a pretty good look from any season. The makeup is so remarkable. It's so geisha anime kind of thing where it just feels like this whole package, this whole look from top to bottom feels like something that she brought with her, not something she made in the workroom. So credit to her fully. I thought her entrance, like the one that she brought, was extraordinary. But this kind of really sealed the deal, and it was the best package out of anyone. This 1-2 punch, hands
Agreed.
down. There was not a weak spot here, Paulie.
I don't. Anyone who tries to say she shouldn't have won this episode is crazy. Like,
Fuck off,
it was over the
absolutely.
second she walked out with this.
Yeah.
Sminty was up next. I does not. It sort of looks like the drawing. I loved the skirt, but the top doesn't completely match. And she took those
I'm.
horns
Yep.
and the horn, you can't even see that they're horns because she put them so around that it looks weird. If she had just popped them up, I feel like that would have been a more
Mm.
interesting look. She
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was too costumey,
Obvious.
but
Yeah.
or obvious. But sometimes you need to be obvious in fashion, and it also would have worked with the symmetrical designs below. And instead, you've got these circles with long. It just, I was a little disappointed. She thought it was great, but I was disappointed. What do you think?
I thought it was good, but I also had that same feeling of there was a disconnect between the top and the bottom half. Like it didn't feel as cohesive as it needed to be. The stuff that was going on with the ruffles was interesting, and I wish there was more of a focal point for it, but like it was better than our first look, I will say, but truth be told, but it just didn't have it didn't nail the landing as I was hoping it would.
So, Serena, girl, my lord, you this is getting rough. I'll say this: she does '60s drag with the wig and the makeup very good. That skirt is
That length,
not.
that right at the knees length, let me tell you. Oh
It
boy.
has seams, but it also looks cheap. Like
Yep.
somehow put seams in it and made and there's a hem. Everywhere you look, there's a hem, but it doesn't make it look good. The coat is at least interesting, but
Yeah.
I thought she was safe. I thought someone else was worse and should have been at the bottom.
I
Um,
agree.
uh, but anyway, any other thoughts on this Serena look?
She accessorized well, but that's not enough to save it, baby. I'm so sorry.
And listen, I will give her credit. She chose this, but the fabric, she had to use the fabric. So
Right.
she's trying to do something with it. I still think you could have done something better.
Hmm.
Um, oh Lord. Linda, we'll get you in a minute at the end of this. I don't understand how you went to fashion school. Like I don't I'm confused. Um I just didn't like it. It's this black, also when she was working on it in the workroom, I was like, what are you putting together? She's made it into this long black simple gown with a sheer, I don't know if it's, or what was
It's
the,
like a rudder. It's like a
yeah,
rudder almost, you know? Yeah.
and going down straight through the middle. Later on, Michelle will properly criticize, like not really sure why that was there. But it's well made.
Yes.
I also feel like it could have been a little more dragged up, like a little, but
Yes.
time, I get time runs out. I totally get it. I did not think this was a great moment for her. Any other thoughts on Melinda Verga's black sad dress?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Greg. When you have a rudder and it's going down the front and you're moving forward, it tends to just go to the side. When it's behind you, there's a little bit more, it can do a little ruddery thing. When it's
Yeah.
in front of you, it has to pick a side because you have a little slit of fabric right in the front. It's like it doesn't look bad. It's just poorly designed. Like that's the thing that's about it. Like there's ideas there. There's something happening. This isn't thrown together last minute, but it's just listen. You can graduate fashion school with a C minus. Like this, that's still there's still things that are possible, and that is, I think, kind of what happened here. But yeah, I love her dearly. She has a great personality.
I love
Love
you,
her hair.
Melinda. I am rooting for you when you please watch this. I just thought this looked plain and cheap. Like
Yeah.
it was definitely low for me. Up next with the Only Naomi, and my first, I literally wrote in all caps, that mug. She's out mugging Sminty. Like her mug looks
Uh-huh.
incredible. I did not love the paint suit element, but the wrapping was pretty good. And her mug and hair are fire. But I didn't, I thought that was going to save her. It sort of did. What did you think?
It was nice. It was fine, but truly, it was the kind of thing where was there enough transformation? And that's one thing that I wrote down as I was watching it before the judges' critiques even happened, where it's like, okay, you're taking the whole, music video Shania Twain thing, and it just felt like it was kind of the same. Like, I like the fabric idea. I think it could have been a little bit bolder. I think the wrap around the waist was good. I think the wrap around the top was rough, but like, it was a good idea in practice. I just think it was okay in execution more than anything else.
And we will find something out in judges' critiques, which will ding it a little more, which I
Yes.
did not notice, to be honest, when I first saw it. Um, Kate comes out.
I
Heaven.
hate this. Greg, I'm just saying it right now. My eyes hurt. I do not like this look. And she proudly declares that she made this from only the original material. She didn't use a single thing of the extra provided material for production. I hate this. I really do. You have a beehive hairdo with a wrap, okay, and then a basic ass fucking little short skirt made out of green bandanas. What are we doing here?
And a
Holy moly.
terrible Russian old woman, like white coat with a, like, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's like a Russian word for grandma,
Like
like
babushka? Babushka?
pushka,
Yeah.
like thing over it. I literally wrote, oh no, 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 no. What
Uh-huh.
is this terrible short dress? You know what? If she had put in a slit or something to give it some movement, it is literally a piece of fabric that she has just sewn around. Like, I oh, I do not understand how she was not low for this. Blew my mind. Zerat, by
Truly.
the way, Zahira's original destroyed this. Like,
Yeah.
so much better. Um, anyway, speaking of someone who is sort of the opposite, perhaps a little too much, was Minty. Um, what did you think of
You mean
Minty?
Sminty?
Oh, was it Sminty? Did we already do Minty?
Or
No, it's Minty. It's
oh, it
Minty.
is Minty. You're right. I'm so sorry. Yes, I had
Um,
read. Listen, when you have queens named Sminty and Minty on the same season, I'm gonna exactly. Yeah, sorry.
uh, what did you think of Minty Fresh's look?
This is one of those looks where, and I truly mean this with every minute of my heart, I want to like it more than I do.
Yeah.
Because this right here is just a mixture of these like plasticky kind of vibes together, and I could see you going for fashion. It feels slapdash. It feels a Tara thing here, a baggy thing here. Like there's spikes around the neck which look cheap. There's spikes on the arm which also look cheap, and like there's a bow on the head, so there's a little bit more of a focal point. It just feels haberdash, like kind of thrown together. Like it doesn't feel as fashion as it should be. I think this trash thrown together look can be good in certain instances, low key when she had her look last week, which was like the patchwork items that she had at shops put together, that had much more intention than this, which just kind of feels tossed around. There's no shape to it too, which I think is the thing that throws me off the most. But
The,
I didn't like it, Greg. I'm so sorry.
no, I did write it was a little boxy. I still didn't think she should have been lower than uh
Serena,
well, actually, you know what? In
Kate,
hindsight, I think I would have saved Sminty and had Kate and low, but that's me.
yeah,
So I whatever. Zahira comes out and she has done a complete transformation from Serena Moreno's suit. Her mug is great. My only problem with the outfit is I wish it hit the floor, which
yeah.
is what did you think?
It wasn't bad. Like it was smart. Like there were some nice ideas over here. It didn't blow me away. It felt like a very kind of safe-ish look. Like there's some nice design elements. You have this cross fabric across the breast that go up to the neck that turns into a wrap. Like there's some cool ideas here. It just doesn't have impact. And like it just felt very safe for me personally. That was the biggest thing. It was like it was good. It was well made, and that's the best I could say about it.
Fontana comes out next. It is not groundbreaking. She's basically doing a new version of what Kate did with the Shania Twain look, but it's more interesting than Kate's, and it sort of fits her better and is sexier. What did you think of this?
I liked it. I really liked it, Greg. I really did. I like because the thing is that like it's just because you're dealing with leopard print, but then you have the fabric that was provided, which isn't exactly
Yeah.
the same. So she knows that, and there's this kind of mixed fabric thing where it's different types of leopard print, smaller print, larger print, kind of clashing against each other. There's dimension to it. Like it feels like a reinvention of it, but smartly. Like there's a lot of pieces on it, and I know pieces take time to make, and it just kind of felt right and correct. She almost completely redeemed her the first runway for me. Like it was like
Oh
it
yeah,
wasn't mind blowing. It's not life changing, but of everything that we've seen so far, I'm like, okay, work. Like I was quietly impressed. Yeah.
yeah. I thought she definitely improved on Kate's, which Kate's felt like it was like an Amazon buy. Even
God.
I just
Yes.
remember watching that episode. Last but not least is Mariah Balenciaga. Complete transformation of what the original look was. I do love the top, but it's over a pre-made bodysuit,
Hmm.
and I feel like she got a bit of a pass.
We're
Also,
gonna read one queen for wearing a bit of a pre-made bodysuit, not transforming it, but the other one, who knows?
not
Maybe,
the
maybe
American.
not.
No,
Not the American, yeah.
we already had that moment last week where Rue's like, I can't send another American home. There's only one.
Mhm. Yep.
Uh, anyway, any thoughts on Mariah's look before we
Prolapse. It was, certainly it was certainly there. I wish it didn't strike me as well executed as some of the other looks. Like it had effect, certainly, but it was fine. I thought her first look was better.
agreed? But all the queens come back out onto the runway, and we find out this year's twist on the eliminations because it will not be the all stars traditional all star rules with the lipsticks. In fact, they are taking a what's the word you would use a I guess a I don't even know
Page.
a
They're
page.
taking a
Thank you,
page. Yeah.
from
Page 3.
Canada's Drag Race. And instead of having a golden beaver, they are doing the Chippy Tea, which is, by the way, I think adorable. This cute little, like, sparkly little fish thing. But basically, what happens is Rue will pick the winner of the week and the bottom three. And the winner of the week has a chance to save one of the bottom three every week. And as we know, having watched way too much of Canada's Drag Race, this can be quite dramatic and probably even more interesting than what goes on with the please do not like pick my lipstick
Uh-huh.
drama. What was your take on this, and were you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I mean, listen, the Philippines got to this before UK did. Philippines already did the freaking Golden Baloo, so this is something that we had seen coming for a hot minute. And ultimately, yeah, it's the smart choice. Again, Canada always innovating. This is the thing that a lot of other seasons are picking up. It makes sense. So absolutely good on them. But Canada sometimes does it better. Sure, call it the Chippy Tea, whatever you want. Go for it. I like it. It's fun. And also, again, I do think that there is a certain energy that happens when queens are fighting to stay versus when they're fighting for a win, truth be told.
Did you think it was cute though? Did you think they? I
I
thought
thought it was cute. Yes, I did. Absolutely. Cuter than the
I would.
beaver. I'll say that much.
I thought it was cuter than the beaver. I would buy a
Yeah.
Chippy Tea, and I'm not. I don't love like I'm not like a fish person, but I thought
Randy Fenton, follow us, worldwideteapod.bsky.social. You know how to send one to us. It's fine.
that is what. But we find out first who's safe, and Sminty is safe. Your girl Serena Moreno is safe. Not really
Shit,
sure.
lies.
Kate,
Lies.
and I literally was like, I cannot believe Kate is safe. Blew my mind. An easy save Sahira, uh, obvious. And that leaves us with Gawdland, Melinda, the Only Naomy, Minty, Fontana, and Mariah. Um, any thoughts on the judges' critiques?
Well, I mean, I think the thoughts are pretty obvious. I think the things that were talked about in the workroom are definitely brought up pretty directly over there, especially in regards to Only Naomi, because the padding comment does come up quite prominently in her thing, and that was kind of the biggest highlight for me of what was happening there. I definitely, especially with Naomi, and I was kind of like, is she in the bottom? Because they loved her first look so much, so it felt a little bit incongruous. That was my biggest takeaway, but I'm sure Greg, I'm sure you have more takeaways.
No, I completely agree. I did right when they were talking about Minty's look. Kate's was worse than all of this.
Uh-huh.
They thought Fontana was cute. Fontana sold her looks, and that's why she was high, I guess. She in theory was high. And Mariah got a massive pass on that Rumix look. Like you
Yes.
could just tell how they judged it, like total pass. But Evan, what happens? Who is our winner? Who is high and who is in danger?
Well, as we find out very shortly, against all odds, it is Gawdland who has won the episode, which is fantastic, which is wonderful, which is great, which is unexpected. And that means that she has the power of the Chippy Tea, which means she will get to decide if Melinda, Naomi, or Minty Fresh will be saved from lip syncing in the bottom two.
And that
Now,
means that Fontana and Mariah, for those keeping track at home, are technically high and not safe.
yes,
They're high.
correct.
The other girls are safe. So all of you wanting to see how on earth they're going to convince us that Kate Butch won. Remember, Kate is safe this week, but
Yeah.
just for those paying attention.
Okay.
Uh, Anyway,
Sminty is fucking pressed to be safe. I'll say that much. It is very clear.
oh wow. Uh, and also we find out that Mariah, they go into the workroom and Mariah has never been in the top ever. Like
Who tells us this fact, Greg? Who tells us this fascinating fact?
Ahira, who seems to know way too much about Mariah
Yeah.
Balenciaga's life.
So, listen, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the last time that there was a super fan, I've cracked the code. I've analyzed every challenge. I know what's coming next. Who was that queen? That's right. I think you're thinking about Sasha Bell from season 6 or 7 of US. Zahira, you truly are the Sasha Bell of UK Trip.
But you know what? I give Sahira more credit because Sasha only had to deal with six previous seasons. Zahira has multiple
Oh, yes.
international seasons, UK and US and All Stars. Zahira, good on you. Good on you for knowing all this.
Round of
Um,
applause for Zahira.
for a round of applause. But they start talking about all of this. I think one of the things that impressed me the most was Melinda says she did not intend to be in the bottom, but she's smiling and she's not being over dramatic. She's sort of taking it all in. But Minty pulls the Southeast Asian card pretty damn quickly. And I don't know if I loved this, but she does it. Naomi's reasoning is she has nothing. She's grasping at straws. She's basically like says to Gawdland, "We're the same young age, so don't send me home." Which is the most like what? Like okay. But you know what? I don't know what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't know.
Right.
Um and again she's holding the Chippy Tea and it's so cute. Put it on a t-shirt. Like I just sort of
Could
like
you please?
please.
Maybe for Greg?
Um
Yeah.
any thoughts about the rest of their conversations? I feel like I missed something else too. Was Sminty that pressed?
I think she was mainly in a confessional overhead that as she's walked to the back of the stage. That's why I have it in the order of my notes. But outside of that, yeah, no, not really. I think we're pretty good.
So if they were hoping that Melinda was going to have a moment here, it did not happen.
It did not
Uh,
happen.
but we do go back out on the stage, and Evan, what does Gawdland reveal to the judges, to the other queens, about who will be saved by the Chippy Tea?
And Gawdland has decided that she's going to save the bitch who stole my outfit, and is ultimately going to save Minty from the elimination, which means that it is time for a lip sync between Melinda Verga and a surprising lip sync champion. If you listen to our ranking of the greatest international lip syncs, which I highly recommend you do if you've not already, the Only Naomi. They're in the bottom two. Greg, what's their song?
Their song is an old favorite of mine. It's "I
Oh,
Begin to Wonder" by Danny Minogue, and this is also the second time this has been a lip sync song on a Drag Race season,
because
and
it
it's
was
also
Canada, or sorry, Down Under.
Down Under, and it's also the second time a horrible lip sync has been done. I literally, out of all the Minogues, I think the only good Minogue lip sync so far has been Saphira versus Nymphia to Padam Padam. And literally at this point, both Minogues should just do a cease and desist against Drag Race of any country letting them use their music because they just give the worst queens lip syncs.
I think that Supernova from All Star 7, where it was Monet Exchange versus oh my God, the greatest Chicago queen of all time.
Shea
Why can't I think of
Coulee.
her? Shea Coulee. Yes, I think that one was pretty good. But that was anyway.
Was there a
That's
split? There wasn't a split. There's
no,
not.
they did a leg turn on the floor at the same time, and it was really cute. There was like a moment. Anyway, okay, fine.
I was
Greg.
literally that was one of my favorite songs during the pandemic, and I remember watching them going, they don't know what this song is. They don't know. Anyway,
Anyways,
this lip sync. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this, and like the queens in the back who were shocked over the winner. We should say in a surprise, the Only Naomi is the winner of this lip sync. They were both bad, but I still did not think, and I love the Only Naomi. I'm rooting for her. I want Germany to get this exposure. I want her to go super far. Anything for any like hint that more German queens from that season get more love. She did not win this lip sync. I don't care if you didn't think that Melinda didn't know the words. She still embodied the song and it did not trip and like almost fall like while doing this lip sync. I was stunned. I thought it was wild judging on Rue's part. And I part of me was like, they did this because they wanted to see if Melinda would react. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I just I will also say we have a conversation with Melinda Verga, which you can watch on our YouTube channel, and she basically said none of the girls knew the word to the song, but that she also insinuated she knew more of it than you would have thought, but then also backtracked and said she didn't know the second verse. But I didn't think that she did. I still thought Melinda squeaked out a terrible lip sync. What did you think?
I think this is one of the most entertaining lip syncs I've seen in some time, Greg, because it is so fucking bad. It is bad on every conceivable level. I don't care how you cut it. It is fucking dog shit. Holy shit, dude. It is bad, bad, bad. How bad is it? Let's talk about it. So, Melinda Verga, she's doing all the tricks. She's doing all the stunts, and it is sloppy Joe. It is sloppy Joe. Have you ever seen a duck walk this wide? Never in history before has anyone done a duck walk this wide while she's doing all this. She's doing the splits. She's doing the stunts. When she was doing it during the lipstick flail Royoff thing that they did in season 4, she had energy. She did a death drop when the song stopped. She did all sorts of crazy stuff. But like here, it was crunchy, Greg. It was bad. And only Naomi, listen, she was giving a little bit of face. I saw that. And let's not forget, she's doing the worst backbend of all time because we don't know if she's doing a backbend. I think it's Kate who's noting, or Fontana who's noting it, like she's kind of doing it and kind of leaning into it, and she doesn't. It's kind of happening, and then she kind of collapses and then puts her head. It looks like she hits her head on the stage. If she didn't hit her head on the stage, there's about 1 centimeter that saved her goddamn life from hitting her head on the stage. It's so bad. I love it. I fucking love it, Greg. I am as entertained by this lip sync as I was during Mia Starr and Juicy Love Dion's iteration of Pretty Ugly from US season 18. Like it is incredibly bad. So I'm entertained directly, but also I gotta be honest, Greg. Words or not, I know why they put Kate Butch in there. It's words. This is the same as the money gun that sent home fucking Alyssa Hunter from goddamn season 15 or
Oh yeah.
14 or whatever, because like, oh, the money gun didn't work, and then everyone's commenting on it. Who gives a fuck? Truly, it was so stupid, part of her narrative. And anyway, she came back on All Stars and didn't deserve to win anyway, so we found that out. But the thing is that it's like it's entertainingly bad, but like. Only Naomi at least is giving something. I feel like Melinda, she says in the pre-thing that she's going to pull out all the stops, and she just does it for the sake of it. So I got to be honest, Greg, I do disagree on here.
Mm.
Melinda's giving it, but I think that Only Naomi is serving face when she isn't trying to do a backbend. And I think embodying it a little bit more. So that's my take on it. I thought she won personally, and I ended up being correct. But that is me, and I think other people might have different feelings about it, but still a shocking exit for a Canada beloved superstar, all I can say.
I will just say, as someone who stands the only Naomi,
Uh-huh.
go to my grave saying that Melinda Verga won this lip sync. And the only thing that I'll tell you is I stand by that because all the queens in the back were shocked too, because they thought Melinda won it too. So if you watch it, it's like the Zapruder film. They're literally like, they are gobsmacked. They did not think that Naomi won. Naomi didn't think she
Uh-huh.
won. So I'm super curious if Naomi does interviews down the road. But Melinda goes home. She is the first eliminated queen on UK versus the World 3. She is the second Canadian queen to go home first on this franchise, which is super sad. But she heads back. Also, Jimbo went home super early as well. But she goes back and she takes her wig off, walking into the back. She's like so over it. And she says, my worst nightmare is coming true right now. But that's basically all she gives the producers. She doesn't get super mad. She doesn't like go nuts. That's basically all it is. What did you think of her departure? Were you surprised? Did you expect more?
So on her original season, fifth place of Canada's Drag Race,
Yeah.
right? First out, UK versus the world. This is the exact same placements that Lemon had when
Yeah.
she did her respective season. So very clearly, Melinda Verga is going to win Canada versus the World season 3. I think that's locked in right now. Fate will repeat itself identically. I gotta. It's the kind of thing where again, we talked about this during the Meet the Queens too. Melinda Verga went viral for a moment of kind of being incredibly raw, and I think as the rest of the season proved, she wasn't that girl. But that's the reputation that's got. That's how she got on the Traders. That's how all these things happened over here. So I didn't think that. I thought there was maybe a chance that she would have something to prove, but as all of her runways at this point had proven, there was not. That was not going to happen. But overall, like I am sad that she had this moment, but not to spoil too much, but for those who go to the Worldwide Tea YouTube and check out Greg's exclusive interview with Melinda Verga following her exit for the season, she knew kind of, she had a lot of time to prep for this. They filmed this a long time ago, and so she seemed to be kind of be in fear of it. And the thing is that I didn't think she needed to be in fear of it because she actually comes off super well and likable and very lovable. I do agree with you, Greg. I do think the producers were really maybe putting her on the bottom to kind of stir something up, but again, that happened that one time. That's just not really who she is. She's not Eve 6000. She's not going to hold a bitter Betty bet against everyone for the rest of the season, truth be told.
Not
But
Perla. She's not like, yeah, always gonna be, yeah. Like she's better than that. And I if you watch her interview, I think I feel so bad for her. And I we talked about an interview is she, this was the day after the episode aired. It was just a couple days ago,
mhm.
and she still hadn't watched the episode. She talks about it. She and her husband had gone to the mall. They came home. They decided not to watch it. There was no viewing parties in Edmonton for this. She wasn't invited to the UK to like tour or do anything yet. So I feel bad. Like but the more she talks about it, she's so happy with the reaction. She's seen some of the reaction online, and people have been super kind and DMing her. And it did sound like she was close. I am making a presumption here that she might have been close to quitting drag, and she's excited about it. But she also does make a big point in the interview of saying her name's her male identity is Mike, and wants to see what else Mike can do in entertainment and in probably in reality. And I am super hopeful that there are other opportunities for Mike or Melinda, whether it's in Canada or other parts of the world, for doing reality or performing, because she's super charismatic. Like as just a
Right.
person, like just even talking to her, you're like you pop. You like will go into a room and you immediately have energy. Um,
Mhm.
so it's a please. By the way, it's a 15-minute interview. It's a super quick listen. But she talks a lot of details, and uh, she has only positive things to say. But she did say
Right.
the last year has been horrible.
She's been dreading this moment. She's been dreading this day. She was worried about how she would come off on here. And so now that she's seen the response online, a lot of people saying robbed queen over and over again, like it's been very validating for her. And also, again, there's a lot of details. We're not spoiling too much on here. She does talk a little bit about how she wants to expand her artistic horizons, I think even beyond drag. Like it's again, long story short, listen to the freaking interview,
Yeah.
man. It's an exclusive on Worldwide Tea. It's really cool. There might be others. I can't say anything. I don't know, but there's some good things. All I can say is that for all of those who have followed Worldwide Tea for a while, there might be even more surprise guests coming up in the future. I don't know. I can't say what will happen. Knock
We'll
on wood.
see.
Knock.
Fingers
Most
crossed.
importantly, Greg, we're two episodes in. Who do you think is winning UK versus the World season 3?
Okay, Butch. They're never
Yeah.
gonna get Gawdland. Gawdland can win 6 episodes. She can win every episode and they'll be like, no, not gonna win. I also my one other thing is I do like I respect Gawdland so much. I am wondering if her personality is going to eventually grate on Rue a little bit. Like I don't know if this personality can hold up this long with the producers. So I'm super curious the longer it goes on. But I like listen, if Gawdland went home tomorrow, I would be utterly shocked. She's already killed
Yeah.
2 episodes. It would be insane. What about you? Who do you think's winning?
So first off, the gay drag race group chat I have going on right now, we're watching it right now. Some of the memes that have come up, one of them is a shot of Melinda and Only Naomi in the lip sync saying, "This is what happens when I order Marina Summers and like Ron Dom off of Temu." And then again, it's a joke. We love them. They're far more talented than that. But the other one is there's that Simpsons meme of like they're looking at a sheep and then they look at a cuter sheep and they look at an even cuter sheep and the first sheep walks in and they just knock it away. And a lot of people are saying that was Georges and then Lydia and now Gawdland. They think that already she's going to be one of Rue's little favorites, one of her tiny little dancing girls that just does all that
Wow.
stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen. You thought that would happen with Marina, but TBD. I do think Gawdland is setting herself up nice, and although she won two challenges in Thailand season three, who gives a fuck? So I'm really excited to see what she does here. She seems to have found a new energy to it. Let's just see what happens. I'm ready to put my money on the Gawdland train, even though it's probably going to be Kate Bush, but we'll see. We'll see. So long as the hiring gets out early, I'll be okay. I love you, girl. Speaking of grading, but we'll see what happens. I'm very excited. Anything
It's
can
a
happen. I
higher.
can change my opinion. It's a higher. And Greg, as always, such a pleasure to do this with you every week. Truth be
And
told.
absolutely, Evan, it's such a pleasure. And also, I would just want to say, if you have any comments about this episode, if you think we're wrong, if you agree with us, share them below, share them on YouTube. Let us know. Also, please rate, subscribe, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or please on YouTube as well. And there's lots of new seasons coming. They're shooting something right now. They're starting to shoot something next week. So there's good stuff coming. Good stuff coming.
Good stuff coming and an exclusive Melinda Verga interview, which you gotta check out on the YouTube. That's the place where everything's happening. Most importantly, y'all, we'll catch you next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one. And God bye. That's what God would say, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.